Well, it was a big swing and a miss. And those are the words from Browns owner Jimmy Haslam himself yesterday while speaking to reporters at the NFL owners meetings in Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, I guess this is from the better late than never file. Of course, you know by now that Haslam was referring to the Browns' Deshaun Watson trade, a trade many think was the worst in the history of the NFL. The statement making headlines, though, across the country. But should that admission come as a surprise? We all knew it. Naturally, our very own Mike Polk Jr. has some thoughts to share on that topic.
Yesterday, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam acknowledged that the Deshaun Watson trade was a big swing and a miss, which would sort of be like me holding a press conference to announce that I'm a tall ginger and that gravity exists. Valid statements, but are they necessary? The fact that the Watson trade was a massive failure is far from news. Most NFL analysts consider it to literally be the worst trade made in NFL history. It massively handicapped our team's future through a loss of cap space and draft capital, while simultaneously challenging our loyal fan base to support a problematic quarterback accused of multiple sexual assault allegations. Not ideal. Cleveland fans who took issue with the move at the time were assured that their moral flexibility would all be worth it when the winning started and the Browns became dominant. Of course, that never happened, and now here we are in our typical quagmire coming off a 3-14 season with a thin roster and Kenny Pickett as our current QB1. Woof. The team's kind of a mess. That's obvious to any reasonable person. And yet, Haslam's comments were somehow the hot sports news yesterday, not only around town, but nationally. So why does it become such a big deal when a team owner acknowledges something that's already apparent to everyone? The answer is both sad and simple. Americans simply aren't accustomed to hearing rich people in positions of power acknowledge their mistakes or take any form of accountability, no matter how minor. And that's why it freaked everybody out. Wait, a rich guy took some blame? Stop the presses, if there are still any presses. Are there any presses left? I've actually seen a good number of people giving Mr. Haslam a lot of credit for his statements yesterday, suggesting that his willingness to accept culpability for the Watson trade is a sign of personal growth and character. And I don't want to outright dismiss that, and it's certainly better for him to have taken some responsibility than to have not. But at the same time, I have to question just how low our bar for billionaire personal responsibility has become when comments like those heard yesterday can be interpreted by anyone as candid or bold. They were neither. Regardless of the timing or motivation behind the comments, I suppose any movement towards accountability for past mistakes by this ownership team should be commended. And the disastrous Watson trade was an excellent screw-up to start with. But if this is really an attempt to win back credibility with the Browns fan base by atoning for past sins, I'm afraid he still has some work to do. We're still going to need similar mea culpas for things like hiring Michael Lombardi, promoting Freddie Kitchens, drafting Johnny Manziel after apparently consulting with a street vagrant, and agreeing to the team partnership with Dude Whites. That's just to name a few. But if Mr. Haslam were to combine those additional apologies with a few consecutive non-humiliating Brown seasons, I think he'd win our hearts back for sure. Hang in there, Browns fans, and cherish the draft.
Yeah, that's our Super Bowl, the draft. 23 days from now, we have the second pick, unless we trade it, which is always a possibility.
Yeah.
I love Mike's approach there. It was interesting. The one thing I heard yesterday more than anything else when talking about this, well, hey, I give him credit. That's where we are.
Yeah.
We're giving credit to the owner for finally, 3 years later, taking responsibility for what is widely looked at as the worst trade in NFL history. I don't think you get credit for that.
It's like we all shoved him down in a hole and now we've just opened the lid and we're looking at him again. That's about where we're at, right?
Yeah.
Credit,
yeah.
let's put that into context with just how low he was.
Yeah, and I know he wants to be liked. Everybody does. Every owner does.
Absolutely.
Here's a secret to being liked, Jimmy. This is
Make
very
good
simple.
decisions.
Win.
Make good decisions to get us to win.
Yeah, that's the part that's hard for him.
Winning is still a pipe dream. The decisions to get us there can happen. We
Yes.
just need good
Win,
ones.
and we will love him.
I tell
promise
my kids
you.
all the time, make good decisions. Jimmy Haslam, make good decisions. All right.